The first college I went to was a state school, and they wanted me to know that they had used a computer to pair me with my ideal roommate. Well, the guy they paired me with, and I'll call him Chris because that is absolutely not his name. Chris was not the dumbest person I have ever met, because at my age, I've literally met a few 100,000 people. But at the time, Chris was probably the trophy winner in that particular category. The college I went to had an outreach program for underachievers, and Chris was the poster boy. Now, I'm not the brightest bulb in the six-pack either, I will admit, but I started to worry. Did they put us together because we were different from each other or because we were alike? Let me give you an example. I had the typical posters of the era on my wall, and I don't remember specifically what they were, but it was like Charlie's Angels or something. Chris had guitar fingering charts. You know, the ones that show you how to place your fingers for each particular chord? He had 3 of them. When he put them up, I thought, cool, he's a guitar player. But he wasn't a guitar player. He'd never been a guitar player. He had no plans to become a guitar player. And I asked him why he had chosen guitar fingering charts to put on the walls if he had no interest in playing the guitar. And he said, and I quote, "I don't know." And I know that's not a big deal, but this was a guy I was going to be living in a 12 by 16 foot room with for 9 months. And Chris was also not the most attractive person I've ever met, either physically or hygienically, but that's nobody's fault. And it's only remarkable in this context because from the very first week of school, Chris began to bring women back to the room for sex. All sorts of women, freshmen, seniors, townies. Just about every other night, Chris would sneak a girl into the dorm. Now, I tried to be a cool roommate, and we worked out a whole signal thing, but after spending a couple of weeks sleeping on a couch in the common room every other night, we had to change the rules. So we limited it to certain nights where we knew we had light schedules the next day and agreed to come up with some plan for midterm and finals week. But then Chris started sneaking them into the room after I went to sleep. And I'd wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning to the sound of boning coming from the other bed 6 feet away from me. Again, I tried to be cool, tried to be a guy, but, they'd start out being quiet, but eventually the passion would overwhelm them and would become, oh God, yes. And then I yell, shut the fuck up. And it would get quiet for 2 minutes. And then it would be again. I thought I wanted to go into radio at the time. So one night I woke up and decided to have a little fun with them and do a play-by-play. So I did, good evening and welcome to Mansfield State College. We have quite a treat for you tonight. Maple Hall resident Chris, no last name, has brought the 18th young lady back to his room this semester. We've contacted the Guinness people and are waiting for confirmation of the new record. It's still dark in room 610, so we're awaiting details. Until then, it's anybody's guess. Is it a blonde? Is it a brunette, a redhead, or even a sheep? As it seems, Chris has no standards on his choice of partner. Well, that ended badly, as you might imagine. But my relationship and roommateship, if that's a word, with Chris ended the following week when I woke up at 3 a.m. to find Chris on the floor, kneeling over the body of a mostly naked girl lying face down on the floor of our room. He was whispering to her, "Wake up, wake up." I jumped out of bed to see what was going on and immediately slipped and fell on my ass. And I tried to get up and slipped again. And I began slipping and sliding on the floor until I could get over to the desk light and turn it on. And it seems Chris and his new friend had brought a bottle of baby oil to the bed with them. And not just any bottle of baby oil, but the giant Econo size 64-ounce bottle. And at some point, it had spilled all over our linoleum floor, creating a room temperature ice rink. As near as I can figure, at some point, the girl had got up in the dark, tried to pull on her underwear, and slipped and fell and knocked herself out cold. So I crawled over to them and managed to wake her up, and she immediately vomited all over me, all over Chris, and all over the oily floor of the room. I got her to sit up and made sure she was conscious and not choking, and sent Chris to get help. Chris came back with another guy from the floor because Chris's idea of help was to get someone to help carry the body out of the dorm before he got caught with a girl after curfew. So I made my way to the phone and called campus security and had them send an ambulance. And they showed up about a half an hour later. The girl was still in and out of consciousness, so I was watching her carefully, keeping her awake. When the EMTs came in with their boots covered in snow, and when the first one hit that slick of baby oil and Boone's Farm wine vomit, the EMT slipped and fell and twisted his back. Now he can't get up, and he's blocking the door, and the other EMT is helping him, and the girl vomits all over me again. Now I look around, no Chris. So the EMTs call the fire department. And the fire department shows up 40 minutes later and wakes up everybody on campus. The firemen come in, get the EMT on a backboard, get him out of there. We work out a system of sliding the girl through the muck with her neck supported so they can take her out of there. And I crawl out of my room on my hands and knees. Well, as I make my way down the hall to the communal shower, I pass the common room. And there on the couch, watching TV, was a freshly showered Chris. Now, there's another 5 minutes to this story. But let me just tack on this one quick postscript, okay? Everybody was fine. The EMT had just strained his back. The girl was drunk and had a minor concussion, but everybody lived. She was fine. Chris and I didn't live together after that. I didn't see him much, and I didn't really think about him after college until about 10 years ago, when somebody sent me a flyer with a handwritten note. And the note said, "Is this your old roommate?" And the flyer was from the Chris No Last Name campaign for Pennsylvania State House.